bass players struggle to play slap lines like this because their technique is actually holding them back. So in this lesson, I'm going to run through 6 technique fixes you can put into your own playing that will help you play much more like this. Stick around. How's it going, guys? Hugh Richardson from OnlineBassGuitar.com here. Just a quick one. If you are new to me, you are new to the channel, welcome. Good to have you here. And if you do like what you see, consider subscribing and turning on the notification bell so you don't miss the next video I upload or anytime I go live. So a load of the points I'm going to address in this video I've actually gotten from reading through the comments on some of my older slap videos. So if you've commented and you've had a question, you're probably in luck with this video. If you do think there's anything I've missed, please do let me know by all means down below in the comments of this video. And without waiting any further, let's dive into the first technique fix. So fix number 1, I've seen a lot of people comment saying things like, whenever I do a slap stroke, it sounds exactly the same as a pluck stroke. So whenever they're trying to do this, they just get this sound. And the reason for that is they're actually trying to wiggle their thumb like this rather than actually do a slap stroke. So rather than putting your hand up against the strings and trying to push in with just your thumb like this, you actually want to keep your hand in this position. Try and make sure your thumb is actually locked in pretty tight, because the thumb itself isn't going to move. The thing that moves is the whole forearm when it rotates like this. So make sure you've got a little bit of tension in here, not loads, but just lock it in place and try and slap over the end of the fingerboard like that, either going through the strings or bouncing back off them. Fix number 2 is all about the pop stroke. So what I see a lot of people doing, again, I've read this in the comments, is when they go for a pop stroke, they hook their fingers underneath the string that they want to pop, like the G for example. But if you look closely, what they do is they just use their finger to try and sort of grab and pull the string away like this. So they get this kind of popping motion with their hand. Now that will give you the sound, but the trouble is it's absolute murder on your hand. It's one of the quickest ways to get a playing injury. So instead, you want to keep your hand in this sort of partly clenched fist position like this, and as you tuck just the outside edge of your finger underneath the string like this, what you want to try and aim for is to have a bit of tension in your hand so that it's rigid enough to hold its position as you rotate and pull away like this. Okay, fix number 3. This is really, really common. I think this is so common in comments, this has actually become like a YouTube search term. And the comment is, whenever I go to slap one string, I keep hitting other strings by mistake. How do I get around this? So I've actually talked about this in a slap bass Q&A before, but the problem with that basically is that you're not using a small enough part of your thumb to contact each of the strings. What you want to be trying to do is use just the sort of head of this little knuckle here, like this. So if I hold that up to the camera, just there. So you've got like a really small part of the string contacting it, and the smaller the part of your thumb, the more accurate the strike is going to be. Then you want to make sure you've got your thumb running parallel to the strings like this, and going for a slap stroke like that. And just to dive a little bit deeper into this point, because I think it warrants the discussion, a lot of people talk about this as being either what's called thumb up slapping, where you have your thumb pointing up like this, or thumb down slapping like this, as you would get for someone like Flea's technique. I think the trouble with thumb down slapping, first of all, is that if you look at your thumb, it goes across way more of the strings like this. So that's fine on the lower ones here, but as soon as you get up to the D and G, it's harder to pinpoint just one string. Whereas with thumb up, no matter if you're on the E, A, D, G, whatever it is, you've got the same area of the thumb contacting each time. So it's always going to be more accurate. So fix number 4, this is do not flex your wrist. Now I see a lot of people do this because they assume that slap, because you're moving like this, it's all about the wrist action. Completely wrong. We'll talk about that in a second. But what happens is when they go to do something like a pop stroke, is they'll hook their finger underneath like this, and then if you look at my wrist here, they'll try and flex it up like that. Really painful, really bad for your wrists. Very quick way for to get like a long-term playing injury. You're not trying to sort of bend your wrist in for a slap and out for a pop stroke. The actual movements and positions in the hands and wrists themselves are completely minimal, and these don't really move at all like this. It's all the forearm moving, which we're all going to look at in a second. So fix number 4, do not flex your wrist. So I just want to pause things here for a second before we look at the last 2 tips, because I've had quite a few people, in addition to commenting about technical stuff, I've had people ask for things like lick tutorials and PDFs and tabs and all that kind of thing. So if you do want some extra practice material, I've done a lick tutorial on 5 Marcus Miller licks, which you can watch by clicking the card up here. There's tab on screen, you can play through and follow along. It's a great practice tool. So head over there once you've watched this video. But before you do, let's check out the last 2 technique fixes. Okay, fix number 5 is to try and keep all of your movements as small as you possibly can. So that means when you go in to play a slap stroke, instead of trying to play it like this, where your hand's got a really large distance to travel, you want to be getting close to the body of the bass as you possibly can, and then just doing a little small movement like this. This is really simple ergonomics. The less space your hand has got to travel through, the quicker and cleaner your technique is going to be. Same for pop strokes. You want to be aiming for little tiny movements like this rather than big movements like that. Okay, so fix number 6 is to combine your strokes properly with good rotation. So what you want to do is you want to try and combine slap and pop strokes in one forearm rotation like this. Now think about it, your wrist, your hand and everything is not going to move. I don't want you to move that. I want you to try and rotate the whole forearm from this joint in the elbow like this, almost like you're turning a key in a lock or something like that. So you keep your hand still and you rotate in for a slap stroke, away for a pop stroke. So you see here, in for slap stroke, away for pop stroke. Rotate in, rotate away, rotate in, rotate away. If you found these technical fixes helpful, then please do let me know by leaving me a comment down below, or if you've got any other questions, also feel free to leave those down below in the comments. The videos I mentioned before you can check out up here. They're well worth watching if you want to check out some really cool Marcus licks. If you've enjoyed what you see, consider subscribing, and other than that, thanks for watching. I'll see you again real soon. Take care.